fourth grade teacher in Massachusetts who says students are performing 2 to 3 grades below what they should be doing.
Public education is doing a disservice to a lot of kids. The eradication of social studies and civics has dumbed down entire generations of students. Learning a second or third language should be mandatory as early as kindergarten. I don't know when we stop teaching about money, but let's get back to that. And finance, and credit. So why are kids struggling? What if I told you it was by design? Whoever had the best scores and raced to the top first at a certain deadline got the funding. The decline of public school education. We're tired. No one cares. No one's listening. We're also not getting paid what we're worth and what we deserve. We're being micromanaged and tied to curriculum that's trash, being bullied and threatened. Makes you not want to teach. Teachers don't have a love of children or a love of the profession. Kids don't want to be here. Teachers don't either.
Thank you so much for being here. You say students are performing 2 to 3 grades below where they should be, and you're teaching fourth grade.
Yes, sir.
So they're falling behind in a fast hurry.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I believe there are a few issues at hand. A lot of children aren't in preschool. A lot of families don't always value education. And then kids also have a lot of external issues going on, whether it be homelessness, poverty, relationships, divorce going on in the home. They're not always there emotionally or available to learn. So there's a lot of factors at play.
Is anything being done to address this, to support these students in a way, or are they just being progressed on through the system?
Many of them are being pushed on to the next grade level. I know for me in my school, we have wraparound services. We work with community organizations to help the students. I know in my classroom, I have small groups. We have intervention to try and pinpoint reading deficiencies and math deficiencies. We have coaches on hand to help the students and help new teachers sometimes have strategies with these students. But as a whole, a lot of kids are getting pushed on to the next grade level. A lot of students are several grade levels behind.
I've written a new book, We've Got Issues, and I was doing research for this book and was so shocked. I found that 30% of 5th and 8th graders basically can't read. 19% of high school graduates can't read at the most basic level. And so I thought, well, all right, how is this working out when people get out in the world? 45 million Americans read below a 5th grade level. They have trouble reading instructions for a prescription that they get at the drugstore. And in 2022, the scores for 9-year-old students declined 5 points compared to 2020 is the largest average score decline since 1990. And math, the last 10 years, there's been no improvement. So whatever we're doing isn't working. People always hear me say, how's that working for you? In math instruction, it ain't working at all. And in 2022, scores for 9-year-old students declined 7 points compared to 2020. It's a first ever score decline. So we're just sliding down the hill.
Absolutely. So we're getting back to the science of reading. We're getting back to phonics. We're getting back to phonemes and blends. We're getting back to old school ways of learning how to read, basically.
Okay. And let me ask you something. When I went to school, we had a grading scale. 90 to 100 was an A, 80 to 90 B, 70 to 80 C. And I saw a Facebook post, so we talked to the person and verified this out of a school in Southern California. When did this become the recommended grading standard, is what it said. I guess my kid doesn't have to work so hard anymore to get an A, because now A is 84 to 100, B 64 to 84, C 44 to 64, D 24 to 44, and F 0 to 24. So when we look at this now, a C is 44 to 64. Are they inflating grades this much?
That's insane. I know for me, I teach in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that's not our grading scale, so I can't speak to that. Where I work, where I teach, and where I live, an A to A plus is still a 90 to 100, a B is still an 80, a C is still a 70. Anything below that, a 60 is a D, and then failing is 50 and below. So
the statistics are clear. Students are making higher grades and learning less nationwide.
Absolutely. Well, I know my husband teaches high school, and a lot of times when a student does no work, they'll force the teacher to give a 50. When a student fails a class, you have to go to summer school. Well, what happens when you fail summer school? Then you go to night school. What happens when you fail night school? You go to credit recovery. After credit recovery, you either drop out or you have to go to some alternative program. So it's like they're trying to tout their graduation rates, but they're not trying to make the kids actually do the work.
How does this prepare the child to compete in the real world?
It doesn't. Not at all. I work with kids, helping them get into college, and they can't read. A lot of them can't write. They can't get ready for an interview. They can't hold a conversation. Technology definitely has decimated a lot of this. Their phones, their iPads. They think that they're going to get quick money payout. They get rich quick to become a content creator instead of going to college or being educated. There's just no real value placed on education for a lot of kids and families these days.
Well, a teacher that was much wiser than me about reading, I heard her say one time, in grades 1, 2, and 3, you learn to read. After that,
you read to learn.
You read to learn. Mm-hmm. So if you don't get those skills in the first 3 grades, you don't have the tool to master material after that. And so it's going over your head.
Absolutely.
Now, I made a graphic out of some things that you said that I thought were really just a good, down-to-earth plan for getting students back on track. You said, number 1, acknowledge that the kids are in a tough situation, but they've got to meet you halfway and
absolutely,
try.
Absolutely.
I thought that was so important. And you said small groups, and you can focus on reading and math. Work one-on-one with high-need students.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this lesson was so important. Bring parents in for stat meetings.
Yes, sir. I try to be welcoming. I try not to be intimidating, and I let them know I'm your partner. I'm here to help. And if we don't attack this issue right now with your child, 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th grade is going to be a lot harder than I am. And I'm rigorous. I'm tough. I have high expectations for every student, but I want to meet you where you are and help you in any way I can.
And you're going to hang in there, right?
Yes.
Promise?
We'll see. I hope so.
Well, come on. We need you. We need you. And listen, I've said a million times, I am such a fan of teachers. We don't pay teachers enough.
Amen.
We don't show them enough respect. We don't appreciate them enough. And I don't know a teacher that doesn't get in their own pocket to come up with resource materials for their classes to do things. And God bless you. I am a huge teacher fan. Not a huge teacher union fan, but I am a huge teacher fan.
Right.
So I'm so glad that you're here shedding a light on this, and I talk about it in We've Got Issues because it is important. It's the future of our country. This is the generation that we're going to turn things over to.
That's right.
And if they can't read, if they don't understand science and math, we're not going to be competitive as a country. So we need you. You're important, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.